Hello and welcome. Well, it's been an interesting week. One thing that caught my attention, you may have noticed it as well, was that Plaid Cymru won in Caerphilly, a seat that's been Labour for a long time. And much is being made about that this is a sort of centre-left party and obviously independence-minded and supporting the Welsh people, making things fairer, promoting the language, etc. And there's a lot in there to like. And this is certainly a very credible threat to Labour in Wales. But it's also, I think, quite seismic in many ways. And Keir Starmer has undoubtedly played a blinder in terms of really turning the nation against Labour, or a lot of people against Labour, or a lot of people against what this Labour Party seems to represent. And of course, people are saying, well, Reform, they lost, so it shows you that they're not unstoppable. I don't think they are unstoppable, and I think there's a lot that will unfold over the coming months and year or so. I do hope that we have an election long before 2029, because I fear genuinely for the state of the country. Will it be Reform? Well, maybe not in Wales, as we can see from that particular result. But of course, that's one of many. And Reform haven't been going that long and perhaps haven't refined their messages. But what I think it shows, in addition to Labour being so weak that they got an absolute, what's that word that begins with a D? Drubbing, that's it. Apart from that, there are threats from both the so-called left and the so-called right to Labour. And I believe that the share of the vote for Labour was 11%. And I think Reform was 36 and 47 for Plaid Cymru, I believe. But the Conservatives got 2%. Which means 13% for the normally bigger beasts in the jungle, in the political jungle. And that is a big change. And it's very interesting. And I think that whilst people may disagree in terms of what is the best way forward, it does seem that there is an element of a need, a feeling for national identity. And I guess the question will be, or one of the questions going forward will be, where does that national identity begin and end? Whatever happens, it looks like going to be a gigantic shake-up. And in the near future, come May and the local elections, I think that Labour could, unless something weird and odd happens, be effectively wiped out in most of those, if not all of those local elections. And then what does that mean? And right now, I do hope that Labour are wakening up, really paying attention to that result in Wales. Paying attention because if you are to have any hope of survival, you need to do something about your leadership. And I've said this before, I'm not alone. And a few people have commented kindly, and we've engaged in a bit of toing and froing. And I have to agree, because several people have said, but if Keir Starmer is to be replaced, who's the alternative? Can you see anyone of depth and quality there that you would trust to run a corner shop? And I'm actually being offensive to corner shops because it's complicated to run a corner shop and it's hard work. And you've got to be consistent in what you think and what you lay out in terms of your offers, as it were. And this Labour Party have been anything but consistent And who is there? I don't think there's anyone in the immediate spotlight. So if Labour are going to do something, they may have to find an individual who is known to a degree, but has never been thought of as a leader. And maybe they could step forward and do something, or maybe there will be a defection to Labour from someone to dig them out of this this hole within a quagmire, within a swamp, within a peat bog. Apart from that, everything's going very well for Labour.